guys, welcome back. Risa here with Crafty Whisper Mama ASMR. I am so happy to have you joining me today. I am doing a voiceover on this video today as I have just been having issue after issue with my mic and audio and camera, so I'm doing this old school with the mic and the phone for now. But I'm excited to show you what we've got in store today. Today's video, how to make this adorable little, what I'm calling micro Christmas tree. As you remember in our previous video, I showed you how to make these larger Christmas trees out of the garland, the tinsel garland, and then just the faux pine garland was another option. And today I'm going to be showing you just a smaller version. Very similar process to the larger tree, just with slightly different materials, ones that are quite a bit smaller that will fit for be fitting for our tiny micro Christmas tree. I'm going to show you some materials that I'm using today. It's my cardstock paper, it's yellow cardstock paper. I tried it with construction paper first, but it was just not heavy enough or thick enough, and it was just flimsy, and it kept kind of like flopping over on the tree. So I ended up with the cardstock, and it has worked significantly better. It's just stronger and sturdier. And the first thing I did with the cardstock was just take my scissors and cut a square-like shape. I say square-like because it doesn't have to be an exact perfect square as long as the sides are fairly even. Then I took this double-sided tape, the wide double-sided tape, and I lined that square up to that tape down about 1/2 inch from the edge. Then I just rolled that little square into the tape like so, sealing it off at both ends. I'm going to cut about 1/2 inch down from the bottom part of that square. So I've taken the paper off of the back of the double-sided tape, so the star is covered in adhesive now before doing the back side of that star, and did the same thing. And this way you end up with a nice shimmery star without the headache of waiting for glue to dry. Okay, so the next material that we've got to use here, once we've got our star done, is our base, the base of the tree. Now, if you remember, the larger tree that we did in our previous video had a paper plate, a paper Dixie plate underneath as its base for its legs to stand up sturdy enough on their own. This is very similar. Only difference is it is a much smaller piece of that paper plate. What I did was I used that same roll of tape for the double-sided tape, and I just traced, I think I was able to get 4 out of pencil. I think I was able to get 4 circles on the base of that plate. Smaller circles of the paper plate would make the perfect base for our micro tree. The next material I've got here is these straws. Now these are bubble tea straws. Again, I did have them in my home, in my craft room, because I've used them for little craft projects for my kids before. And it doesn't matter what colors you have, nobody is going to see them because they'll be wrapped up by the tinsel very soon. And now I'm just measuring. I'm kind of using the tree that I had made previously because I liked the height of that tree, so I'm kind of using that as a guide. I am using 3 straws, just like with the legs of the larger tree. And I'm just cutting them to be even. I did cut these slightly at an angle because I did find that they stuck together more nicely. I am using 3 straws, and then what I'm going to do with these is just hot glue them together and do the same thing I did with the larger tree and do first just do 2 of the straws together, and then after those are glued securely together, put the 3rd straw on. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put some hot glue on the bottoms of straw individually. Piece a little bit easier, as you can see. Once that starts to cool off, I'm going to apply a little bit more to the bottom to make sure it's nice and secure. Next, we've got our tinsel garland here that will be serving as the leaves of our tree, or the pine needles of our tree, rather. I applied some hot glue, a tiny drop to the base of our tree, which is that paper plate piece, not touching any of the straws, so just on the plate itself to start off with. That way it'll be easier to wrap around and more secure when we need to move it. And then as I go around, I'm going to first make sure the entire bottom of that plate is wrapped in hot glue. So I do put a couple other small pieces around that paper plate piece just to make sure, again, it stays in place. Once I've got that garland wrapped one full circle around that paper plate piece, I am going to continue to wrap the garland up just like we did with the larger tree, placing a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of hot glue on the garland pieces, not on the straws, but on the garland pieces themselves as you go up. But I would not do more than, if you have any more than 3 drops of hot glue for a tree this size, which is about 5.5 to 6 inches from the star to the base, you're going to be able to see the glue. Put some hot glue on the top there to hold those pine needles together. So now I am taking my glue gun again. I'm taking the leftover piece of garland that I have, putting some hot glue on the tip of the wire it's attached to, and then a drop of hot glue to the tip of the tree, making sure it cools off enough to continue wrapping. And for this, I'm wrapping from the top to the bottom. Alright, what do you think? Well, I am so happy you were able to join me today for this video. I thank you all for coming by. And please, 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 if you have not done so already, please go ahead and hit subscribe. If you love it, you can go ahead and tap that like button as well. I thank you all so much. I love you all. I look forward to seeing each and every one of you real soon. Goodbye.